Hi guys. Now, immediately, what I felt coming into this car now is that it is massive up front. It is very, very spacious. This is the Ford S-Max. This is take two because this is my second time driving this car, and I have to say, man, it has one of the most comfortable seating position of any MPVs because of the way the seats can be adjusted, and of course the expanse, the vast visibility that it affords me. But one thing that I don't really like now is they have this type of mild distortion side mirrors, and it makes me dizzy. I just can't find a focal point when I look at it. I don't really appreciate that. Now the other thing is, oh my, the way it handles, the way the body control of the car. No wonder Con loves it so much. It's barely even a kilometer in, and you can already tell the way the steering wheel is. What the fuck? Fuck you! Fucking cunt! Fucking idiot! Sorry, there are two other lanes. Maybe you already can see it. There are two other lanes there. Just what a cunt! Just cut it in the last minute. Anyway. Alright, let's go. A bit of wheel spin, a bit of torque steer. That is expected because it has 240 horsepower and it is front wheel drive. And but just a very little bit. It's normal for a front wheel drive car to have torque steer. For a very long time, the fastest front wheel drive car is the Honda Integra DC2. Alright, and then the DC5, and nobody else really bothered much. And then Alfa Romeo did it. The GT, which cars was that from Alfa Romeo? They have like 200 plus horsepower on a front wheel drive car. Oh no, it's the Fiat Coupe, not Alfa Romeo. It's the Fiat Coupe, the one with the 2.2 turbo, was it? You know, that one makes 220 horsepower and it's front wheel drive, and momentarily during that period of time it was once the most powerful front wheel drive car. And there were a lot of experts claiming that that's the max a front wheel drive can take because torque steer, you know. And then came the Renault Megane RS, which shows to everybody that you can have 250 without torque steer, without the slightest hint of torque steer. And then there is a slightest hint here. That is just an exaggeration, okay? And then you have, well, anyway, screw it. Okay, I'm not here to preach on front wheel drive car. The S-Max, it is a very, very underrated car. The styling of the S-Max is, let me just put it this way, it is not a bad looking car, but it is not the kind of taste that Asians would like, you know, the way it looks, because it looks like the egg of an alien chicken. Yeah. You know, somewhat oblong the shape, but then there are lines going across. Yeah, it's the egg of a year 2090 alien chicken. What the fuck I'm saying? Anyway, fuck it. Yeah, it's like an egg, you know. And these are the kind of styling that, you know, you just look at it and like, yeah, you have a proper grille, a proper headlight, nice sporty rear tail lamps, but when you put everything together, it's just okay, you know. Asians, they like imposing cars, you know, cars with ridiculous body kits and chunky looks. So this guy is not. This guy is a bit of here and there, you know. It's not bad looking, but doesn't win any beauty contest either. Okay, and I hate small cars, especially when they're in front of me. But luckily, I'm in an S-Max. I can just power my way over him, and then the handling is so good. The way it handles, the steering feel, it is so good, and visibility is excellent. My sitting position is excellent. I have air-conditioned seats. Air-conditioned seats. Do you have that in your E-Class 5 Series? Volvo S90? Do they have that? No. This guy has air-conditioned seats. Oh wait, the Kia Cerato has it. Cars with aircon seats, you can legitimately squeeze out your wet fart. Oh my god, that's just gross when I think about it. Oof. You know, the type that it's a bit warm at your butt. Oof. And then this thing cools it down. It's a nice car to drive. It is a nice car to drive. That's what makes me amazed with Ford engineers, man. They are brilliant. I have another video that I spoke about how the whole economics of car ownership will change in the next 5 to 10 years, where there will no longer be the need to outright purchase of a car, and then because of the outright buying of that car, you need a bank to finance you, and then that's where you have depreciation, you have all these arguments about liability, all these so-called financial experts giving you advice on not to buy cars. All this will go away because in the next 5 to 10 years, cars will be on lease, like how on subscription, which Volvo now has started in US and Europe for the XC40. You pay a fee every month to subscribe to using the car. You can spec the car however you wanted it, but you subscribe. It is a subscription. Same like your Maxis subscription, how many gigabytes you want. You want more gigabytes? You pay more every month. Same thing. You do not outright buy out that line for a 30-year value, and then you can't afford buying it outright, and then you take a loan from the banks, right? That will not happen anymore in the future of car ownership. And I believe under that scheme of subscription-based ownership, Ford will be a big gainer for our Asian markets solely because their cars are fantastic, but they have crap resale value. And I think when I no longer need to worry about all that, a lot of wheel speed. This car, does it need 4-wheel drive? Maybe. Because of the power. Oh. The funny thing is this car, is it a bit floaty? It is. Does it roll when you corner it? Yes. But somehow the communication, the information that you get from this car, I don't know how to put it, you just feel confident in this car because of maybe the feedbacks, I don't know. Okay, what did I do? The rear wipers are okay. Yeah. And the interior build, hey, yeah, it's very decent, but it's no Mazda. It cannot be compared to all the new Mazdas, but still, it is very decent. Now, the engine, after you did a full acceleration, the moment you let go, it's as if it detaches the turbo to cool down or to go like, whew, ooh, that was scary, you know? The car, as if the car was doing that, and then you press it again, and then the car will be like, what, you want it again? Okay, then let's pull back the turbo and slot it up, and boom, then it powers again. There is that detachment there. Look at this cunt, another cunt. With his exhaust in the middle, he has a R badge behind his punto, and drive nicely that road. Yes, I know there's an Oppo sign at the back, but because I respect him, I give him equal rights. That's why when he drives like a cunt, I'll just say he drives like a fucking cunt, regardless of whether he's an Oppo or not. Because I respect him. Anyway, this is a very nice car to drive. Seated inside here from the cabin, I like everything about it. I really don't like this Microsoft Sync because, like all Microsoft products, they don't really care about the ease of use. It's just buttons here and there, up and down, and they don't really care whether it's user-friendly or not. But at least it looks sophisticated. That's the least, you know. And I'm sure it's powerful. It supports Spotify and all that. It's able to pull my contacts. Oh, my phone wasn't able to detect his name just now. Anyway, I don't know, man. This thing, it obviously costs for some money, right? To use Microsoft Sync, it obviously Ford has to pay for it. But after all these years, I don't know this is Ford Sync 3 or 4. They haven't really improved its interface, you know. Even the touchscreen is not the capacitive type where Volvo uses, you know, you just touch and it registers. This one is touch sensitive. I mean, you need to depress it for it to register. If you touch it, it won't work. So, I don't know, man. And yeah. But overall, this car is a fantastic family car. It rides somewhat higher than normal cars, but it's not as high up as a full-size SUV. Likewise, the Mazda CX-9. It is not as quiet as the CX-9. It is not as comfortable when it comes to the road manners of the car. In terms of the drivetrain, it is not as smooth. I don't think it is as torquey as the CX-9, but it handles rather well. So I know, why am I comparing a 230 or 240,000 ringgit car with a 280,000 ringgit car? Hey, if a base Camry and a top Camry can have a differentiation of price of about 40 to 50,000 ringgit, why can't cars of that range from 200 to 300,000, right? It's a legitimate choice. So it's good, but seriously, I would top up that 40 to 50,000 and get the CX-9 because it's more modern, it looks more luxurious, it has a third row that I fit. This car's third row is purely for petite human beings, not for me. I can't fit at all. So I think this form factor lived a very short life. The MPV form factor, the 7-seater MPV form factor is now going the way of doodle birds because consumers prefer a 7-seater SUV form factor because it looks more rugged, it looks manlier, it is better looking in certain ways, and it's just, I don't know how to put it, they just look better. SUVs, even I myself think so. Okay, I would pick a 7-seater SUV as opposed to a 7-seater MPV solely because of how it looks. Yeah. Wheel spin and torque steer. Wheel spin and torque steer. Anyway, yeah, I just think that SUVs are 7-seater SUVs are better looking, especially now that there no longer is the issue of handling, because back then you want a low riding MPV to have the sedan kind of driving feel, but now even SUVs can handle so well. There's no need. There's really very little need to worry about a high riding SUV because they handle just as well. Lovely car to drive. Unfortunately, for a 7-seater MPV, the capacity of the third row, whether the third row fits an adult, is a more important criteria than how the car uluyams. So this is a weird car, right? Its primary job of ferrying 7, it did not do really well, but it's able to do something else, which is to uluyam. Alright, I guess that's the driving experience of an S-Max again. But I like how it drives. The interior, does it look good? Same, it's almost the same case as the exterior, you know. It's not ugly, it is functional in certain ways, but it cannot be considered a good looking interior. There are just bits of everywhere that makes this car look a bit childish. You know, it has that 1990s mini compo look, you know, the kind of, those of you who are younger, maybe you don't know what's a mini compo, you know, the kind of radio or stereos that you carry here, you carry everywhere, you know, speakers and then cassette player, and then they always design them to look cool and all that, somewhat like that, this kind of design, you know. It's not low tech, it's pretty nice actually, but it's just not luxurious, it's not sporty looking, it's, yeah, it's not here nor there, that kind of design. Now if I bury the throttle here, I will be able to overtake another van. It's like, oh, what is that van? Oh, the suspension, so good. Ford. Some cabin noise already, shaking. What's the mileage of this car? 10,000 km. Well, that's what you get. Turbo lag, there you go. Turbo lag, there you go. That's what you get. Ford S-Max. Yeah. Yep.
You know what? It's a very, 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 very practical car. It looks good. Why does it not sell? Why does it not sell? I think the thing is this. It is trying too hard. It is trying too hard to appear middle class. That is the problem with the Ford S-Max and a lot of Ford products, I guess. It's very European. These cars are designed for European markets, and Europeans have this thing of wanting to not show off. And I think, not as in not show off, but as in they have a very subconscious mindset of social status segregation. Even though they try to be politically correct and all that, right? The Europeans, right? If you're a middle class person and you bought a used Bentley, somehow your neighbors would be like, oh, that guy's trying to behave like a rich person. But us Asians or Americans, we don't really care, right? We buy a used one, we enjoy the car, it's spoiled, we fix it. And I think that's the thing with this car. It's trying its best to be as middle class as possible, not to be pretentious, not to have those over stylish stuff. You look at Japanese cars, they have those tiny K cars that look like micro Velfires. They look like micro Alphards, little ones, but they have all the garish looking body kits and all that. People maybe aspire to that. And you look at freaking Almera has a Nismo version, you see? So I think Ford Europe especially can play into that, to be a bit more flamboyant, more daring with their designs. Look at what Peugeot is doing. It's very, very flamboyant, and this is not the best example of, you see, that's the thing. Is it ugly? It's not ugly. It's not ugly at all. But is it appealing? You see, you don't look at this and go like, wow, I want to sit in this interior. But you look at all the details, it's finely done. Look at the analog dials on the side, but the analog part is shown by a digital screen. So all these things are, I mean, this is high tech as well. This is some Microsoft Sync stuff, even though it's very, very Microsoft you know, and all this stuff. I think there are too many engineers involved in Ford's product and less marketeers. They need some marketeers to create eye candies, you know, selling points, things that are dumb for the dumb consumers. This car is too smart for dumb consumers, too low key for pretentious consumers. Yeah, it's a bit too low key. If they design the Ford S-Max to be a bit more balls out crazy in its design, a bit more flamboyant, a bit more pretentious, you know, having the interior looking like some really premium cars, that's what consumers wanted in Asia, perhaps, I guess. But yeah, that's how I feel looking at the entire Ford S-Max, be it the S-Max or the Mondeo. Yeah, you say that the Mondeo actually look like an Aston Martin, but they sort of have a daring grille and then they tone down everything else. So that's how it is. I think it's a very good car. It drives so well. It's rather quiet. It's very well built, and it's spacious. It's practical. It's well thought out. But the thing is, it's a bit too, yeah, a bit too middle class. Oh, there's no power tailgate. Okay, I thought there is, because this looks like those huge ones, but there are no buttons here. So yeah. See, it even has this electronic release. You press them and the seats drop. Of course I couldn't now because my baby seat is in the middle, but it's electronic release. And there's a compartment here. It's very well thought out. Everything is so well thought out. See this one? You can hide it away. You see? All these little things. But unfortunately, it just doesn't sell.